If I could have your attention here in the media center, we'll begin our post-race Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series media availability for the 59th annual Daytona 500. We are joined by second place finisher Ryan Blaney, driver of the number 21 Motorcraft Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center Ford, and third place driver A.J. Allmendinger, driver of the number 47 Kroger Clickless Chevrolet for JTG Doherty Racing. Gentlemen, an incredible show out there. Let's start with you, Ryan. Please walk us through those final laps from your perspective.
Yeah, well, I thought we had a good car all day to start off, and we showed that definitely in the first half of the race. And then we got some damage there. One of those big wrecks about middle of the race and kind of hurt our car a little bit. Me and AJ was talking, though, it looks like everyone ran a race at Martinsville. I mean, everyone's stuff was tore up, and there was only a handful of cars left at the end. But we all got single file there with maybe 15 to go or something like that. And I tried to make a move with 10 to go to see what would happen, and no one really went with me. And the 22 tried to, and it really wasn't happening. And I was kind of worried it was just going to end that way. And luckily, I got Joey behind me there down the front stretch, and we were able to lay back to him and get a huge run into one. And at that same moment, the 41 went to go past the 42, and it kept my run going all the way up to second. And down the back, I look at my mirror, and I see the 47 car, and like, oh, I'll just lay back to him, and we'll get a big run to.
I just wasn't very fast. I was still wide open.
I thought you were running out of gas. I was.
No, that was all I had.
I thought I'd lay back to him, and we'll get a good run at it. Maybe we have a shot at it, and then I started kind of running out of gas there. Into 3, we started sputtering pretty bad, and luckily it made it back to the line. But good showing for us. It was a good way to start off the year. It stinks to be so close, but I think that's good momentum for our team to be good at the beginning of the day, get some damage, and come back and be able to rally for a good finish.
AJ, it seemed like you came out of nowhere there in the final lap to have a great finish. Walk through those final laps from your perspective.
Yeah, you know, we had a great handling car the whole time here. We just didn't have a lot of outright speed, so you know, I kept seeing Ryan and Joey kept making moves, and I just knew my car wasn't very good on the bottom. So, you know, I knew my best effort was going to be kind of the last 10, 12 laps once I kind of got up to wherever I was running 7th or 8th there, was to stay up top. I just started saving fuel. I knew everybody was close. So, you know, I knew my best chance to have a good result was to just sit there and try to run half throttle, stay in line, and not let anybody kind of slide up. So every time Ryan and Joe would kind of make a run, I'd try to keep the gap close. But I was just kind of holding half throttle there and knowing that this race is probably going to come down to who ran out of fuel or you know, kind of if somebody checked up in front of all of us and who could try to miss it. So, yeah, you know, white flag there. You know, I saw, as Ryan said, they were getting a run on the bottom. I just was like, all right, I'm just going to ride it out up top there and see what happens. And the 5, I think it was the 5 and the 27, kind of right in front of me, it looked like they just checked up a little bit, and it kind of right there I thought, all right, they're starting to run out of fuel. And I just kind of ducked right in the middle there, and the 42 was out of fuel, which I think checked up the 22, which was next to me, and that's kind of how I got through the pack. So, you know, just solid. We didn't have the best speed outright since we've been here. You know, we put a great effort. The duels, we got a good finish, and unfortunately had the penalty there. So to come out with a top 5 finish, I think this is the first time since I've been with the 47 team we've actually raced our primary car at the 500. So that's a start. And overall, just you know, Kroger sponsoring this event, being a part of this event for 10 years now, to be in our race car full time. You know, all the guests and all the activation that they've done was just was fun to have a great run for them and to be able to kind of put them in the top 3 and give them a chance to win this race.
Outstanding. We're going to open the floor up for questions. If you have a question, we'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start with Jenna and go to George.
Jenna Fire, AP. I have 2 separate questions. What did you guys make of all the wrecks? I guess half the field didn't finish. Was that the 5-minute clock? Was there too much aggression out there? Was it the stages? What happened today?
Yes.
AJ,
Yeah.
you're so
Yeah.
intelligent.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. No, I mean, to me, you can see, and I don't know about, you know, I mean, to me it seemed like you get 5 laps to go in the stage, everything would kind of amp back up there. You know, we were running single file in that second stage, and 3 to go, you know, everybody kind of starts getting racing. And, you know, I think really the last couple of years here, you know, for me, I've noticed because I've always tried to kind of hang in the back and, you know, pick a time to make a run. Everybody just gets 3 wide now, and it's hard to make any moves happen. So I think that anticipation level of, you know, instead of waiting 20 or 30 to go, you have to go with 100 to go. You got to get your track position, and if you lose it, it's really hard to get it back. So I think to me that's the bigger deal, is the fact that over the last couple of years it's hard to make moves from the middle of the pack up through the field with 20 to go. So everybody was trying to get up there and make sure they got the track position, and, you know, that's what happens here.
Got anything, Ryan?
No, I'd agree with that. You know, once we get 3 wide and you're 20th, you can't go anywhere. There's no room to make any ground, and with the leader blocking every lane, it just kind of stalls everybody out. So really what AJ said, everyone tries to get their track position with 100 to go, something like that, just so they can stay up front for the end.
And Ryan, for you, I remember 2015 at Talladega, you had a very strong car, but you couldn't get anybody to work with you at the end and really give you a shot to race for the win. Has that changed for you, or when you pulled out a line today, was it like deja vu?
I think it's helped a little bit. The yellow things on the back bumper help, not being there anymore. That seems to help out a little bit, but you know, really, you can talk all about that of people not going with young drivers or whoever, and really at the end of these things, you kind of are forced to go with whoever wants to go. And today, luckily, we had a teammate with Joey behind us who would want to go with us, and it's just kind of circumstance and timing, and when you choose to go, and if the person behind you thinks that they can go with you.
Mr. George?
Yeah, back here, for both of you, George Diaz with the Orlando Sentinel, kind of dovetailing on what Jenna said. Is there a concern? Everybody knows that Daytona things get amped up, but is there a concern, given the new rules packages that you have with these stages, that this is going to be amped up, and kind of what to expect, whether it's Daytona or short track or regular course?
I mean, I think Daytona and Talladega are going to be the extreme, because, you know, it comes down to trying to get your track position, and you know, you see people lay back, and now with the stages, you know, there's points on the line. So I think Daytona is probably the most amped up, and it kind of changes how people race. To me, I don't think any of the other 32 races that we're going to go to, we're all driving as hard as we can every lap anyways. Yeah, you know, you get a caution with 8 to go before the stage ends. There's going to be some strategy, maybe guys on old tires, and that might make some difference when it comes to the stages. But I think it's just the extreme of the Daytona 500 and these plate races, the way we have to race, and now with stages, with their points being on the line, it just, things are going to happen like that.
Go next to Lewis.
Louis Frank of Reuters over here to your left. It seemed to me that the manufacturers, you know, some of the teams had a strategy of running as a squadron. It bit the Toyotas early on. What have you learned, you know, from running together on plate races like this?
You know, I thought the Fords had it made early. You know, we had 6 or 7 of us kind of lined up there, and we were really fast, and it seemed everything kind of be going our way. And then I know a handful of them got taken out, and then all of a sudden it kind of seems like we're the underdogs. There was only 2 or 3 of us left, with the 41 and the 22, myself. 43 was in there, but really there wasn't a lot of us left in there. There was mostly Chevrolets, but you see the plans in the middle of the race kind of working well, and then at the end it never really seems to work that way. But I definitely think manufacturers are really working together a lot more in the past couple of years, just because you can get so many of them to work together. So at Ford, we were lucky to get 4 more cars that we could work with, which really allowed us to try to do that today and be strong with all those cars.
Okay, we're going to go to Steve and then back to Jenna.
Yeah, hi. For either one who wants to answer, it's Steve Harmer with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I know it's hard to kind of project what ifs and everything, but what if Chase doesn't run out of gas? How much did you guys think behind him had for him at the end?
He ran out of gas, so there's really no what ifs. If wishes were fishes, the world would be an ocean. So
Is that Swedish fish? I love Swedish fish.
I like it too, but I don't know.
You get those at your local Kroger, by the way, people.
Damn, you are good at these sponsor plugs. You are good. Yeah, I don't know what would happen. Just because it played out, it's you kind of just play with the cards you're dealt. So you never know if they would have made a run or not. So unfortunately, he ran out. I was pulling for him there, but you never know.
Speaking of Chase, AJ, you're one who particularly takes losing difficult and having your career. And Ryan, you know Chase a little bit. He left with his father without talking to any media, and he's obviously very upset right now. Can you guys understand that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the Daytona 500. I mean, it's any race. He's going to win so many races. Ryan and Chase and all those young guys. I mean, they're going to win a ton of races. Kyle Larson, those types of guys. But it's hard to know how many chances you're really going to have at the Daytona 500. And it's Ryan kind of with the Penske effort, and Chase. You think, okay, they're going to have a lot of chances to win, but he had a dominant car, so I can understand it. I mean, it's hard, and at times, yes, it's our job, and we got to go about the right way, and sometimes we don't. But in the end, it's our passion, and it's what we live off of. So I can completely understand that, and have because at the point, you're not going to say anything good. What are you going to say? Oh, shucks, we'll try it next time. We'll go to Atlanta. No, so I understand.
I mean, it's the way he is. He wants to do so well, and he does do a great job at everything. You see him, he should have won 2 or 3 races last year, and things just didn't work out. Nothing of his fault. And, you get down on yourself. But like AJ said, he's going to win tons of races in his career. He's going to win a lot this year. And he had a great shot to win that race. It looked like he was the best car that could control both lanes. And you saw that in the duels, and you saw that today. He could really keep both lanes at bay, and not many other cars could do that today. No matter who was out front, the top would get a run or something like that, but his car was really, really good. So, I can understand his disappointment for sure. I mean, you're leading the race. Looks like you're going to win the Daytona 500, and you know how he is. He's very hard on himself, but it wasn't his fault today at all. I mean, can't help you run out of gas. Just I can understand his frustration, but I said he's going to win a lot this year, and throughout his career. So it's easy to get frustrated right now, but he's going to be okay.
Okay, we're going to go to our left to Jay.
This is for either of you guys over here on your left. I wanted to ask you real quick another question about the segment stages. Danica was mentioning that one of the issues was that you had guys out there with new tires, old tires, all racing against each other, and made for some shuffling up at the field. I don't know if that was what was causing some of the wrecks out there, but are you guys concerned that going forward, that not just here at the Super Speedway, but maybe going forward through the rest of the season, that there's going to be these stages are going to create some carnage throughout the season?
I mean, I guess I don't know really how to answer that. Maybe, but isn't that what we're trying to do, is make some of these races more exciting throughout the middle of the race? There, in the past, you've seen a lot of single file racing, and yeah, we got single file there, but everybody's trying to position themselves to win the race. But I still go back to the speedway races are unique because it changes the way you race. It's not going to change the way we race any other racetrack. We're going to drive as hard as we can, the speedway races. And, yeah, you get a caution that falls at the right time, and maybe some guys stay out and some guys pit trying to get that stage win or points. It might be, but isn't that what we want? Isn't that what we're trying to do is kind of beef up the middle of the races so people stay entertained? And that's what it's all about. If nobody's watching, it doesn't matter.
Any additional questions for these gentlemen? We got a question in the back, and then we'll go over to Lewis.
Donna Beth Wildman, Benicia Herald, and since I'm from the Bay Area, way to go, AJ. Congratulations on this.
That's NorCal.
What I'd like to follow up on the stages, now that you've had a chance to do it for real as opposed to talking about it, how did driving stages affect your team, working with your crew chief? Did it change anything at all, or was it more like competition caution?
I I don't really see it as a competition caution, mainly because you're benefited for running in the top 10 throughout at the end of the stage. So you saw some teams and cars group pit early just to try to maybe short pit and get out front before the end of the stage and get some points if there was a caution that fell maybe 10 laps before or earlier. So I thought the communication and strategy side from the drivers to the crew chiefs were very important today, and I think you're going to honestly, I think it's going to be more important on other racetracks, not the speedways. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It made for good racing before the stage were over, just to try to get some points to help you out towards the playoffs. So it was definitely a lot of strategy, and they did. I know my team, they did a great job of making sure we, pitted when the time was right with our group to try to set us up to be up front at the time the stages were over.
Next, Lewis.
Louis Frank Reuters again. AJ, can you give us any insight into Kurt? You may have learned about him pretty well over at Penske. What? As a driver.
Yeah, I mean, he likes long walks on the beach. Sometimes he goes to the symphony after he goes to a baseball game, and his favorite flower is the dandelion. So I don't know. I mean, he's a hell of a race car driver. I've always said that, and I think he's no secret. Kind of like myself, he's had ups and downs, but it's just cool to see somebody like that puts all the effort into it. I mean, we all do. So sometimes you don't want to be happy for the person because you're jealous that you weren't the one in it, but in the end, he did a great job. He deserved the win, and it's great for that team.
Go next to Kelly.
Actually, it's roses. It's not dandelion. I was just joking.
Kelly Crandall from Racer.com. Ryan, you had quite a showing this week in your dual race, and then here today being able to kind of move through the field, make a lot of aggressive moves, and contend for the lead. Was that comfort in the strength of the car, or are you feel like you're getting more comfortable at plate racing and knowing what you can and can't do?
I think a little bit of both. I thought our car in the dual race was spectacular. It's a shame it got tore up, but our backup car was, honestly, I felt like just as good. We came from the back really early and were able to drive up through the middle, and our car handled correctly to where we can get up through the middle and be aggressive when the time was right, and we were able to stay up there. I think our car had enough speed to stay up there too, and we could never grab the lead at the right time to be the one car up front trying to block lanes. We could never just get that right push at the right time. It's probably something I was doing wrong to not get the right run, but I think it definitely is a little bit of both with the car, myself and Josh Williams up top, my spotter, getting a little bit more comfortable with each other and communicating really well. He's done a great job. He hasn't been spotting for very long. He spotted for AJ a couple years ago, and he only started a couple years before that. So he has a lot to learn, but I think he's done a great job, and he's been a big part of it as well.
We're going to come over here to your right, the mic.
Mike Neff from frontstretch.com. This is for both of you. Plate racing is a different animal, but momentum is still a big part of this sport. And both of you are starting into your second full seasons with your crew chiefs. Is this momentum starting off the season, do you feel like it's going to set you up for a strong run towards the playoffs as we get through the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have a good finish, it's going to help. Last year we had an okay 500 and went to Atlanta. We had actually a fast car, but had a poor finish. And then, Vegas, I think we ran okay. And next thing you know, you feel like you start pressing a little bit, trying to get a good finish in there and start gaining some points. So, this race doesn't dictate that, okay, our car's for sure going to be great at Atlanta. But more than anything, it does help to know, all right, we got some good points, and we don't have to press like we did last year. We don't have to do anything crazy. Just go do our jobs. And, you don't really know where you stand until about 8 or 9 races in. And by that time, we've went to every type of racetrack, and you kind of know, all right, where are we strong, where are we weak. But, these races are hard to get great finishes in. So anytime you get one, you take it, and it helps a ton. And, the Daytona 500 is the biggest. So it's at least a kickstart into Atlanta for our team, knowing, okay, we don't have to do anything crazy. We just keep doing what our jobs are and see where we kind of fall into place and see where that is.
Ron, your thoughts on that?
Really the same as AJ's. Anytime you get a good finish anywhere, no matter what track, it always kind of propels you into next week. Maybe it feels a little bit better that it's the Daytona 500, but like he said, it doesn't mean your car's going to be great at Atlanta. It doesn't mean your car's going to be great when you go out west. So until you get 9 or 10 in, then you can kind of get a good judge of how your cars are and where your team stacks up. But no matter where it is, if you get a good finish, it definitely helps your team confident-wise for the next week and maybe a couple weeks after that.
Well, gentlemen, thanks again for the show tonight. And safe travels to Atlanta. We'll see you next week. Take care now.